Here we have a SAT math problem. Okay, let's go to the question. Point P lies on the unit circle and its position is determined by constructing an angle of 119 pi over 6 radians with positive x-axis. What is the x-coordinate of point P? Okay, first let me draw a unit circle in the xy plane with the center the origin. Okay, here I have drawn a unit circle. Let me draw the y-axis, that is vertical axis over here, and also the x-axis over here. Okay, now let me mark the x-axis and y-axis. Okay, here now we have to determine the position of the point P by constructing this angle with the positive x-axis. Okay, just for an example, let me assume the point P is over here in the first quadrant. Then to find the position of the point P, what we have to do is we have to construct an angle with the positive x-axis. Okay, now let me construct an angle with the positive x-axis over here. So we know that this is a positive side of x-axis. Okay, so this is the angle measure is constructed with positive x-axis, and now to find the angle measure over here, we have to convert the given angle measure from radians to degrees, so that we'll have somewhat clear picture. Okay, now how do you have to convert this angle measure radians to degrees? So let me take the given angle measure as it is. It is 119 pi over 6 radians. Now to convert this radians to degree measures, so I have to plug in 180 degrees for pi, because pi radians is equal to 180 degrees divided by 60. Okay, here 6 goes into 6 one times and 6 goes into 180 30 times, that is 30 degrees. When I multiply this 119 and 30 degrees, I am getting 3570 degrees. Okay, we know that even the angle of one full rotation is 360 degrees. But here, when I convert the given angle measure from radians to degrees, I am getting 3570 degrees. So here we have many full rotations in this one. I think we have about 9 full rotations. So now what we have to do is we have to get the angle measure apart from the full rotations. Okay, how do you have to find that? Let's divide this angle measure 3570 by the angle of one full rotation, that is 360. Okay, how many times is 360 degrees goes into 3570? I think it's about 9 times. Definitely not 10 times, because 10 times of 360 is equal to 3600. But here we have the value which is less than 3600. I think it's 9 times. 9 times of 360 is 3240. Okay, when I subtract this 3240 from this 3570, I am getting 330. So that is, in this angle measure 3570 degrees, we have 9 full rotations. Apart from that, we have 330 degrees angle measure. Now we have to consider this angle measure, and we know that 0 degree angle measure is over here, and here we have 90 degrees, and here we have 180 degrees, and here we have 270 degrees, and here we have 360 degrees. That is the angle of one full rotation. And we have this 330 degree angle measure in the fourth quadrant. It's over here. Its terminal side is over here. Then we can look at the position of point P is over here, and the angle measure over here is 330 degrees. Let me write it. Okay, what is the measure of this angle? It has to be 30 degrees. How? Because we know that the angle of one full rotation is 360. This part is 330. Then the measure of this part has to be 30 degrees. So that when I add this one and this one, that is equal to the angle of one full rotation. And also let me draw a vertical line from the point P to the x-axis. So since it's a vertical line, it forms a right angle over here. And let me consider the center of the circle, that is origin O. And let me take point A over here. Here we have a right triangle OAP. And also it's a unit circle. The question says, since it's a unit circle, its radius has to be 1 unit. We know that this OP represents the radius of this circle, and the length of this OP is 1. And in this right triangle, when I consider the length of this line segment OA over here, this is the x-coordinate of the point P. Our aim is to find the x-coordinate of the point P. So to get the x-coordinate of this point P, we have to get the length of this line segment OA. And also this line segment, this vertical line segment AP represents the y-coordinate of this point P. Anyways, it's not required. I'm just saying. Okay, now let's try to get the length of this line segment OA, which represents the x-coordinate of the point P. Okay, here in this right triangle, considering this interior angle measure 30 degrees, we know that this is the opposite side. Let me write over here. And this is the side opposite to the right angle. So the side OP of this triangle represents hypotenuse. And the name of the third side OA over here is adjacent. Okay, here we have the length of the hypotenuse, and we have to get the length of the adjacent side. Now we have to consider the trigonometric ratio in which we have adjacent and hypotenuse, that is clearly cosine. And we have to consider this interior angle measure 30 degrees. Okay, so cosine 30 degrees equals to the formula according to secant is adjacent over hypotenuse. And either from trigonometric ratio table or from unit circle, we can get the value of this cosine 30 degrees. So that is square root of 3 over 2 equals to, okay, so for adjacent side, we do not know the length, we can plug in OA. Okay, for hypotenuse, we have 1. Okay, square root of 3 over 2 equals to, when I divide the OA by 1, it still equals to OA. Okay, here I got the length of OA equals to square root of 3 over 2. And one more important thing we have to notice, okay, now the point P, so the x-coordinate will be positive or negative. So clearly the point P we have on the positive side of x-axis, because on the left side of y-axis only the x-coordinate will be negative. This is the negative side of x-axis. Here we have the point P on the right side of y-axis. So if I consider any point on the right side of y-axis, the x-coordinate will be positive. So the length we get for OA, that is square root of 3 over 2, should be taken as x-coordinate of the point P. So therefore the x-coordinate of the point P is square root of 3 over 2. We find the square root of 3 over 2 in answer choice C. The correct answer choice for this question is C.